All right, homework number 9 is on the top of the page here, so please write that down in your planner and get box paper if you need it. The bell ringer today is find the discounted price of a tent with a price of $89 and a discount of 15%. So you can pause the video for like a minute or two and see if you remember how to do a discount, and then press play and I'll reveal the answer. But the answer to this question is $75.65. So that's what this lesson is going to be about. So I won't go over that in detail. We'll learn about it here in the next few slides. So this is lesson 2.7 in your packet of notes. So as you're watching this video, listen to my explanations and take the notes in your packet as well. So this first section is on percent of change. And it says percent of change is the ratio of the change in an amount to an original amount, and it's always expressed as a percent. If the new number is greater than the original, then it's a percent of increase. If the new number is less than the original, then it's a percent of decrease. And we can use what's boxed off here on the center page. If we take the final amount and subtract the original, and then divide by the original, we'll get a decimal, and then if you multiply that by 100, you'll get the percent. So we're going to do 2 examples here, one of each kind. Determine whether each percent is a percent of change, percent of increase or percent of decrease. Then actually calculate the percent. So our final amount is 23. We're going to take 23 and subtract the original of 20. Divide that by the original, which was 20. And then we're going to multiply that by 100. So we get 3/20 times 100. And if you do the math, that's 15%. So the original was 20, the final was 23, which means the final amount increased. So this is a percent of increase. The second example, if I take my final amount of 17 and subtract the original of 25 and put it all over the 25, multiply by 100, you get negative 8 over 25 times 100, and you're going to get a negative number, which means it's a decrease, but we write our percent as a whole number. So it's a 32% decrease. All right, so we have applications of percents of increases and decreases. So sales tax is a percent of increase because it increases our total. Examples like finding a tip at a restaurant, that is also a percent of increase. So we have someone who's purchasing wire and beads to make jewelry. The merchandise is $28.62 before tax, and the tax rate is 7.25% of the total sales. What's the final cost? So first we're going to find the tax and then find the total with the tax. So first we need our tax rate, which is 7.25%. We need to take that percent and change it to a decimal. So some ways of doing that is you can move the decimal point 2 spots to the left, or just take 7.25 and divide it by 100, and that will change it to a decimal, 0.0725. Some students think that since the percent has a decimal in it already, that they don't need to change it or divide it by 100. But you have to do that step. Of, we talked about earlier, means multiplying. So of the total, so we're going to take this decimal, multiply by the total, which was $28.62, and we're going to find what 7.25% of that amount is. So this will give us our tax, which is about $2.07. Then to find the cost with the tax, we take our original cost, $28.62, and add on sales tax. So our final total would be $30.69. A discount is a percent of decrease because it decreases your original amount. So since Tyrell has earned good grades in school, he qualifies for a good student discount on his car insurance. His monthly payment without the discount is $85. If the discount he gets is 20%, what will he pay each month? So we need to find the discount and find the cost after the discount is applied. So again, our percent needs to be changed to a decimal. So move it 2 spots left, or take 20 divided by 100. You get 0.2. We need to take 20% of 85. So 0.2 multiplied by 85. And that means we're saving $17. So that's the amount of the discount. Now the final cost after the discount subtracts money off, so we need to take 85 and take away what we save, which means our final cost is $68. Now there is another method which some of you might be aware of when you're taking a discount. If you're getting 20% off of something, that means you're paying for 80% of the price. So to do this, to find the total cost in one step instead of 2, you could take 80% of 85. And then that would be $68 right away. So you just have to be careful what the question is asking you. Does it want a total in the end, or does it want to find out how much is being saved? So just read carefully when you're doing these questions. All right, so pause the video, work through these team huddle problems. You can try them on your own if your group's still watching the video, or kind of do them on your own, then check in with each other, and then replay the video and check the answers. All right, so I'm not going to show all the work up here. I'll just display the answers. This one was an increase of 33%. This one was a decrease of 9%. The computer game, the total cost with sales tax is $53.07. And then this last one has an answer of $22.10. So our wrap up, sales tax is an example of a percent of increase because it increases our price. Discounts are examples of percents of decrease because we have to pay less money, so that saves us money. What's the difference between the two? Sales tax gets added on, tax gets added on, and discounts get subtracted off. And then what may be some common mistakes students would make when performing the calculations. Sometimes if a student thinks like 5.5% and they want to change it to the decimal, they just might use 5.5, or they might say this is 0.0 or 0.05, or just getting confused on where the decimal goes. They might think it's 0.55. So just be careful. Just always take your percent and divide it by 100 to change it to a decimal. Always make sure that you're checking whether your answers are reasonable to these questions as well. Doesn't your answer make sense in the end? So go through that reasoning as well.